Hi there, James Craddock with the iGestalt Creative Thinking Strategy, and you are inside the Emotional Arena module now, and we are building upon the introduction to the 7 arenas of the human experience. We are in the we've looked at the physical arena and the sensual arena, and now we're in the emotional arena. And the emotional arena is a very it's a very touchy arena because of the fact that it's emotional, and it deals with those excitations that we get as a result of decoding information from the physical arena through our sensual arena. And an interesting fact is that because you cannot access the physical arena and you cannot decode anything from it, your emotions cannot be stirred by it unless it goes through the 5th arena. It has to go through the sensual arena. Therefore, if you can control your senses, then it makes it much easier to control your emotions. And we know that one of the greatest assets that an investor can have, or a financier, or anybody that's dealing with money, is to have control of their emotions. And we'll discuss here and there throughout the training, and then we'll put some supplements in that will talk about some exercises you can do and some disciplines that you can incorporate into your life that will help you control your emotions as a result of controlling what aspects of the physical arena you allow to come through your sensual arena. And by doing so, I anticipate that you will also recognize the validity of the emotional arena and the purpose of the emotional arena, and we'll set up some physical characteristics, and we'll go through the same framework we have in the previous arenas and continue to go through for the subsequent arenas, so that you start to identify with this arena in such a way that it becomes very innate and very auto-responsive in your own right. When you think about the emotional arena, it's no longer this mass of colors and feelings and kind of mayhem that seems to arise out of discerning emotions. Rather, these are specific attributes, and they're affected in specific ways. And here are the laws, and here are the characteristics of that arena. And so doing, so looking at it that way, we can start flipping switches and start pulling levers and making it in such a way that our emotions are put into subjection of those laws and those characteristics, and subsequently we're able to control our emotions. I'm going to teach you some meditation also that is going to help you calm your emotions and bring your emotions under control. Even if you bring your emotions under control for a very short period of time each day, 3, 4 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then you're going to have a frame of reference that's going to give the rest of your day this tone that is much more controllable and manageable. And when you get to moments of extreme anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, all the different gamut of emotions that sometimes when brought to the extreme can cause us harm and pain, when you get to a point where you can control those at the drop of a hat, you're going to discover that you've got a power within you that benefits you in all areas of life. And of course, again, we're laying the groundwork for the iGestalt Creative Thinking Strategy, and you will need to control your emotions in both subduing them and exciting them when it comes to putting together a creative idea. And having control of this arena is incredibly powerful and necessary to be effective. So this emotional arena, I also want you to recognize how much data gets absorbed in this arena. This arena is like a flywheel. It will absorb a lot of extra data. It will absorb things that your subconscious isn't using and your conscience isn't using. It will carry around with it, if you will, deteriorate data that it doesn't need. It's like a hard drive that just hasn't been cleaned up in a long time. Sometimes it can just be packed with pieces of information and visuals and auditory loops and you name it that tend to play on your subconscious, but they don't directly live in the subconscious. So what it does is it sits there like this big cloud over you. If it's a negative emotion, and it's constantly writing to your subconscious without you realizing it. And we'll get more into that, but the emotional arena is a challenging arena, and it's a very critical one. And the reason it's so challenging is because of its critical nature, but also because it's kind of on the sidelines. We don't always consider our emotions when we consider our thought processes and our manifestation processes and our accessing of ideas, etc. And it's one of the first arenas that we need to consider, but oftentimes we don't even give it any consideration. And then when we do, we don't really have any good tools or mechanisms to control it. So we're going to hopefully lay to rest all of those ideas, but again, in the training module, we're just simply going to set up the framework of what the emotional arena is all about. And no doubt, I tend to drop a few hints here and there of how you can use it. But then later, we'll have additional videos that you can download that will give you exercises and very clear instruction on how that emotional arena can be managed to your benefit. So enjoy the training, and we'll see you back here because our next arena is a fun one. We move into the conscious arena. All right, remember, creativity is the sixth sense.